Your body is not the problem. No matter what the industry makes you believe, everybody is a body ready for summer. Everybody is the perfect body.
It's become normal for people to be discontent with their body, and I just kind of feel like that's not something that should be normal. It shouldn't just be a baseline of we're discontent. I decided, you know what, my body is good enough. My body's not the problem. I'm going to go and I'm going to help help people realize that they can be fit. They don't have to be, a specific size in order to be fit and healthy. I started off with doing body image coaching. I got the qualifications to do that, and I started coaching people from all over the world, and they were all telling me very, very similar things about their bodies. No matter how much you change on the outside, if you don't deal with what's going on inside, then you're never going to feel better.
Your body is not the problem. No matter what the industry makes you believe, everybody is a body ready for summer. Everybody is the perfect body. But how hard is it actually to take on those beliefs? I know the battles I've had in my own life with eating disorders, and even days in like today where you feel unconfident. But actually, you need to surround yourself with positive people and doing positive groups. And that's why we've got a no diet, feel good coach, but also to help us get fit and actually get our minds into shape more than anything. So, Kim, can you tell me what inspired you to do what you're doing today?
Well, I grew up like so many people dieting, and I spent years and years and years since I was early teens just listening to all the messaging that's out there, that you need to be skinny, you need to be as small as you physically can be in order to be healthy. And I just got to a point where I started to realize that any diet that I do doesn't seem to work long term. And even when it has worked in the short term, and I've got to kind of my goal size, I still haven't been happy. I still haven't been accepting of my body. If anything, when I did get to a smaller size, I was completely checking, body checking and even more anxious. So I thought, and I started looking into, there must be another way. There must be another way, because it's become normal for people to be discontent with their body. And I just kind of feel like that's not something that should be normal. It shouldn't just be a baseline of we're discontent. So I started off with doing body image coaching. I got the qualifications to do that, and I started coaching people from all over the world, and they were all telling me very, very similar things about their bodies. Then I decided I actually wanted to pursue my love of fitness, which I've always loved. And I've never felt that my body's been good enough. So I decided, you know what, my body is good enough. My body's not the problem. I'm going to go and I'm going to help, help people realize that they can be fit. They don't have to be, a specific size in order to be fit and healthy. And it's helped me with my own body image. You mentioned before about not feeling confident. Today I feel a bit, I think it's after the weekend of just like coming back to things, but it's learning what to do with your mental health, and when you do have those body image days, and realize that it's not your body, it's the thoughts and it's the mental health, and it's no matter how much you change on the outside, if you don't deal with what's going on inside, then you're never going to feel better about yourself. So
How do you start training someone who just feels unconfident in their body and feels like I've battled it all these years, I've tried every diet, nothing's worked for me, but I'm still unhappy. I'd love to embrace my body, but I'm not.
I think the baseline needs to be body neutrality or body acceptance. I think there's the body positivity is amazing, but it's quite a high, especially when you high thing to aim for, especially when you've been spending so much time really not liking or hating your body. So it's getting sort of towards that baseline of just acceptance. But even that, you know, that's a long process. It's being finding that compassion for yourself, learning where this discontent comes from, educating yourself on all of these messages that are out there, and really a lot of these messages are to sell products. We're not going to buy the products if we love ourselves. We're not going to try and change ourselves if we're already, you know, happy with ourselves. So there's a lot of the messaging, and it's really important to look into, you know, where does that come from? I'm feeling that way. If I must be feeling that way for a reason. Feelings are valid, but where do they come from? And just getting that level, that deep level of sort of empathy and self-compassion for, you know, as I say, for yourself. It's a process. It's not overnight.
And what do you do with women on a like day-to-day basis? What would a week look like? What would you recommend?
Well, so I do I've got a membership where it's body image and fitness, and we focus on body celebration. So like this morning, for example, I did a short celebration class, hence all the balloons in the background. And it is about, I remind people when they're doing the class, you know, you're moving for self-care. This is not punishment. You're moving your body out of celebration, and you know, we'll have a bit of a giggle, we'll put some, you know, fun music on. There's different types of classes. So there's also a body inclusive yoga class. There's Pilates. There's classes where people can build their strength, and strength training is great because it's great for mental, you know, building sort of mental strength as well. It's, once you feel strong, you kind of, you feel it sort of mentally as well. And we do body image support groups. And I think for so long, I know for me, I've bonded over not liking my body. So I'd speak to a friend and I'd be like, oh, I hate this part of me, and they'll be like, oh no, I know I hate this part of me. And it's like you bond and you bond over like food and dieting, you know. That's what's like the whole sort of like Slimming World and Weight Watchers. You have to go to groups and you bond over it. But it's turning that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of turning it around to be a bit more positive and to talk about experiences and know that actually I'm not the only one that feels like this. And if I'm not the only one that feels like this, then it can't be just me. It can't just be my body. Surely there's something in the system somewhere that's making people feel like this. And so it's just this community and this, you know, looking at movement in a different way, not making it about calories, not making it about punishment, you know, just moving out of self-care.
And how does that differ? So I know I'm a glutton for punishment. Back in the day, it was that whole process of go hard or go home fitness industry. And to be honest, whilst training in personal training more out of love of fitness than anything, it felt very much like that. And even to an extent, some of the yoga teacher training, there's still a bit of that. But we are moving. There are lots of changes, and there are a lot of people coming forward who are offering more accessible yoga, more accessible fitness. But if someone's been from this kind of high intensity interval training, battle your body, there's no wrong with it, but it's often we do it for punishing ourselves, especially women, I think. How do you move someone to kind of believe that, oh, okay, we can now do this out of love for ourselves?
As I say, it is a process, and I think that it's being very aware of the language that we use, and you know, diet culture as a whole, and learning that it's very, very focused towards it just being what, you know, you have to be one size in order to be fit and healthy. And it as I say, it takes the time, but it's the language that all of the coaches use as part of the membership. It's constant, just reminding ourselves and learning. There's lots of different books and podcasts which I always recommend to my clients, and you know, it's sort of taking note. For example, this is kind of like quite a common thing to say, but who you follow on social media, you know, like Instagram, and you know, and knowing that, realizing that what's actually triggering for you, and just kind of understanding, you know, where you might start to feel that shame and why, and what can you do about those triggering situations. And that's why, as I say, the language is really important that me and the coaches use, because it can be so triggering. I know that when I go to the gym myself, because I'm still recovering from not dieting, and I was very addicted to exercise. You know, I was really quite unwell, and I personally still struggle when I go and see these, you know, like no pain, no gain, and like just guilt-free food. And it's like, but there's no moral value. And it's like, you know, there's just, and I think once you see it, once you start realizing all this language that's damaging, you can't unsee it. So it's good in a way, but sometimes it's like, especially when you are recovering from quite a unhealthy relationship with food and exercise, it can be challenging, but it's allowing yourself that time, and that, as I say, going back to that empathy.
We'll have to pop some podcasts and recommended books below.
Yeah.
What would you say to people? Like, is there certain things they could do each day to feel better about themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of my friends have said recently about clothing, and they've gone up a size, and they don't want to, you know, they don't want to buy any new clothes, or but they feel uncomfortable in the clothes that they have. And I know it's a very privileged thing to say, I'll just go and buy a new wardrobe, but it's making sure that what you're wearing is comfortable. I think, because if you're wearing clothes that are, especially bras and stuff, that are uncomfortable, you're constantly going to be thinking and telling yourself, my body's too big for this. And actually, you know, it's just that the clothes are just don't fit your body anymore, and there's no harm in that. And I think it's as, again, cliche, it's how, being mindful of how you talk to yourself. So, you know, if you start going down this route of, oh, you know, I'm fat, and not that there's anything wrong with being fat, but I know that a lot of people use it as a negative. It's like, well, actually, no, I feel this way because maybe it's that time of the month, I'm a bit bloated, and it's just sort of checking in with yourself and saying, actually, well, would I speak to my best friend like that? Would I speak to my partner like that? No. Why am I speaking to myself like that? I don't deserve that. And just, again, just trying to just allow yourself to just be mindful. And it's easier said than done. But it's just the small little things, as I say, who you're following on social media, you know, and knowing your triggers, and sort of coming up with a little plan of like, what can I do? What can I do tomorrow that I'm not doing today that's going to help me feel better?
I love that. And on that note, how can people get involved with what you're currently doing?
So my classes, they offered for a membership, so they people can sign up. There is a 3-day free trial at the moment as well, if people just want to check it out. the really good thing is that it's no contract. People can pause it whenever they want if they're going on holiday, and so it's all on my website. So it's bodyimage.fitness, and you can find me on Instagram, which I suppose you'll pop the link below. And yeah, and so you can sign up, and as I say, you get to do all the classes. There's pre-recorded classes. There's intuitive eating class, which is course even, which is just amazing for building the relationship you have with food, and then in turn your body, and a community as well, which is what I said before. It's great to just connect with other people that are experiencing the same things, that just want to work on their mental and physical health away from dieting messages that are going to potentially be triggering for how we feel.
So remember, your body is not the problem, and I'm going to steal that one. Your brain and body is not the problem. It's often that we might diverse from the industry or from the institution, or society, but that doesn't mean that we're the problem, no matter what people make you believe. And that's what we're really big about, being perfectly imperfect and embracing being different, rather than fighting and battling our bodies. So thank you so much, Kim, and make sure you follow Kim on Instagram. If you're interested in my mind and body stuff, I'm on Instagram at the Sparkle Coach, and then on my normal channels at Sophie Maylan. But hopefully I'll be doing more with you, Kim, as well. But thank you so much, sending you so much peace, love, and lots of shimmies.